Hey, what is up, people? This is Johnny, and welcome to my top 5 legendary Pokemon. Number 5! Alright, so number 5 is Rayquaza. Rayquaza is, of course, a dragon and flying type Pokemon, and is considered the sky high Pokemon. And the reason I like Rayquaza is for a lot of reasons. The design is really solid. I really like the design of it. It was probably one of the best flying type designs of a Pokemon that I actually seen in the whole Pokemon series. And it even got a Mega Evolution in Pokemon Noras, which makes it even more special. Even having the strongest attack, Dragon Ascent, which people consider it was way overpowered, especially in its Mega Evolution. But one of the things that really made me like Rayquaza was when they were fighting against Groudon and Kyogre, and he had to come in and step out of the sky and put everything in control. That was one of the epic scenes in Pokemon Emerald that I always enjoy and probably will always remember, and it involved this Rayquaza there, which is pretty awesome. And that's why I think Rayquaza is awesome. Also, if you look at its shiny evolution, well, it's not shiny evolution, well, it's shiny self, it's all black, which makes it even look cooler. Number 4, Groudon. What can't you like about Groudon? Groudon is actually considered the heaviest Pokemon, the continent Pokemon. And it's really supposedly the one that weighs the most out of any other Pokemon. So that's a pretty interesting fact. And it even got its own primal Groudon evolution, which even makes it even look cooler as well. And I really liked it, especially in the scenes when it came out in the remember the epic scene where they're all there, Rayquaza, Kyogre, and they're battling it out. And it's a pretty awesome Pokemon. I must say, you can't just look at Groudon and be like, man, this Pokemon is just amazing. It's also a pretty strong Pokemon. It's alright, but I like it as the design is also really awesome. The design, when they made this design for this Pokemon, it was like, whoa, that is definitely a pretty good looking Pokemon when I first saw it in my first time. Number 3, Mewtwo, the genetic Pokemon. Mewtwo, man, if you remember Mewtwo since the first Pokemon movie and in the anime, you probably know that this Pokemon has a really big background story, how it comes from Mew, and it's actually artificially made Pokemon, which makes it even more interesting. And it has its 2 Mega Stones as well, Mega Mewtwo X and Mega Mewtwo Y, which is pretty awesome. And it's basically a psychic Pokemon, but if you have the Mega Mewtwo X, it's a psychic fighting Pokemon, which makes it even more unique as well. This Pokemon has a lot of abilities. You can actually get it in different abilities depending on what version you get of the games as well. And man, it's just one of the best Pokemon. If you have seen the movies, you probably the nostalgia in this Pokemon is awesome. He's probably will be featured in almost every single time in Pokemon games. At some point he reappears, and I like the fact that they brought Mewtwo back even in the latest Pokemon X and Y and in the anime as well. So Mewtwo has to be one of the greatest Pokemon ever that are legendary. Number 2, Kyurem. Now this legendary Pokemon you may be familiar with, and it's a really awesome design that it has got, and it's a dragon and ice type Pokemon called the Boundary Pokemon. One thing that really makes this Pokemon unique is the DNA splicers, which allow it to fuse, I believe, with Reshiram or Zekrom, depending on what version of Pokemon game you have. And it just looks amazing when you actually have both of them on the side by side. The one, how this Pokemon DNA splits with itself with the other one using those type of things. And it's just amazing how they made it. I like the forms of this. It was a really unique thing they did, and really different from all the other legendaries that they did in Pokemon. So this is freaking awesome, and I think Kyurem does deserve number 2. And for the final, number 1 legendary Pokemon is Dialga. Okay, so Dialga may not be the most unique Pokemon, but I really like Dialga. I thought it was one of the best solid designs they have ever done in a legendary when it came out. Even though Generation 4 wasn't my very favorite one, but I seriously did like the Dialga Pokemon. It is the temporal Pokemon, which I believe it can do a lot of stuff with time, which is pretty cool, and it's a Steel and Dragon type Pokemon. It was also a pretty strong Pokemon when you used it in battles with legendaries. I really like it though. To be honest, this is one of the best Pokemon and number 1 design that I found really cool, and the design is just awesome. And of course, I'm a fan of a lot of blue colors, so that's why I like Diamond a lot. But definitely think it's one of the Pokemon that should be up there in the list, and that's why I made it my number 1. Dialga is just an awesome Pokemon. Thanks for watching my top 5 favorite Pokemon that are legendary. Let me know in the comment section, what are your favorite legendary Pokemon? Also, if you haven't checked out some of my previous videos, make sure to click on those 2 boxes in the middle to go ahead and watch them.